Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so grateful you're spending your time with us here today to learn more about how news can empower healthcare fundraising. We are at the top of the hour, so we are going to get started. I see that people are still joining us, and we're grateful to have you here coming in from all parts of the country today. As we kick things off, just want to let you know, my name is Catherine Bergerson. I am the Vice President of Marketing with Insightful and Newsbank. The session is recorded and we will send out a copy to you following today's session. On our agenda today, I want to let you know that we will be doing a brief overview of Insightful, what you can expect. We will then jump right into the session about news alerts and healthcare. We will have time for questions and answers, and then next steps. Speaking of questions, depending on the type of GoToWebinar that you're in, you may see some gray bars on the side of your screen that look like this. If you click on questions, just type them in. We will do our best to get to all of them. Or you may see chat icons like those on your screen now. Open that up, type them in, and we will pause after the conversation between Mariana and Tami and give you an opportunity to ask your questions. So that's how you do that. A bit of a background on Newsbank and Insightful. Newsbank is a family-owned company for more than 50 years. It was founded in 1972, and we're a global news and information provider gathering comprehensive, vetted, credible resources from all over the globe. All of our resources are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any device. So Insightful is part of Newsbank's philanthropy division. And so we draw on those resources to help nonprofits keep on top of crucial news and information, fill in those gaps that you just can't afford to miss, and to promote better philanthropic engagement. And we believe it's truly just this simple. When you know more, you can raise more and deepen donor relationships to do more good in the world. So the reason that we are all here today is to talk about how we can use that news to deepen our donor relationships. And we are joined by Mariana Boone, who is the Senior Product Manager for Insightful. She helps to put everything together and has been part of the Insightful team for about 3 years. Also, we are joined by Tami Pearson. She is a prospect research analyst with Nuvance Health, and she has been working for more than 20 years as a prospect research analyst for 5 of those years, and says, having tried about every supporting role in fundraising, from event planning to gift processing and database management, she found her real passion is in prospect research and development. Before joining Nuvance Health, Tami worked in higher ed institutions, cause-oriented organizations, and one grant-making foundation. She loves to engage with and learn from colleagues in the fundraising world. So she says, please feel free to connect with her on LinkedIn. So I'm so grateful to have Mariana and Tami joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And thank you, Tami, for being here today. We're so excited to have you here. As a former practitioner myself, I share in that enthusiasm and excitement. I spent 18 years in fundraising before coming over to the product management side, working both in healthcare and higher education. And I agree, there's nothing like a good old prospect development to affect your mission. So why don't we start there, Tami, just to set the stage. You and I have known each other for some time now, but maybe for everybody else on the call, if you can just sort of paint the picture of, give us the quick story of what Nuvance is, what it does in the healthcare space, and kind of what is the mission that drives you and your team in a day-to-day.
Sure. So we're a healthcare organization. We have 7 hospitals in the Hudson Valley in New York and Western Connecticut. We have hospitals that are in rural areas, and we have others that are in more urban, suburban areas, some areas that are wealthier and others less so. It's an organization that I'm really proud to work for. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, it's really the only place I've ever stayed like as long as I have on purpose. It's just so amazing. The people I work with are so wonderful. We have amazing clinicians and staff, and we do all sorts of great things out in the community. We do free clinics. We do all sorts of like workforce development activities with school children. So there's a lot of community outreach, and it's just a great organization to work for.
Tami, pulling down closer to kind of your operations team, or fundraising team, tell us a bit about how big the team is, what kinds of roles make the magic happen there.
Okay, yeah, we have 13 frontline fundraisers right now, and we have event staff that solicit sponsorships. We've got a team of navigators that go out and round on patients and kind of come back to us with information about who might be a good prospect. We have marketing and stewardship folks, and then we have our advancement services team. And so it's a lot of it's like a small group, but we're super efficient, and we get a lot done. We raise a lot of money for the number of people that we have on our staff, and our advancement services team is amazing as well. We have somebody that does prospect research. We have our director, of course. We've got somebody that oversees our database management, a couple of gift entry and data entry folks. Really would call them data specialists because they do a lot of different things. And we have somebody on staff that does stewardship, and then there's me, and I do all of our prospect research. But we're a really great team. We overlap a lot in what we do. We meet weekly to just stay on top of everything and kind of solve problems together. And so we're really lucky to have that. And then with the fundraisers, we meet monthly to do pipeline and strategy meetings. We have all sorts of other weekly and monthly meetings to just keep everybody on the same page and make sure everybody knows what's going on, because we've got, like I said, 7 hospitals. And so it just helps us stay focused and efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're comfortable sharing, maybe just give us a sense of what your annual goals might look like. You said with the size of the team that you have, you can raise a lot of money and you're efficient and effective.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into specifics, just whatever you're comfortable, maybe a range of kind of what you guys have been fundraising for the past few years.
Our goal this year is around 41 million. So, and it goes up every year, as it should. And it's really remarkable what we get done.
The reward for a job well done is you get to do more of it. Great work, Tami. I know when you and I have talked before, you've spoken a little bit about some of what goes on the team, and you just mentioned that collaborative nature and how often you guys meet and overlap. Talk a little bit about what you think makes that team so efficient and effective. Is it the mix of personality? Is it the leadership? Is it the mission? Why does the team work? And maybe if you have an example of like a recent win or experience that you've had with the team that made you think, this is why I love this team.
Yeah, I mean, we have like this really awesome, we have this great mix of personalities, but everybody's like really into what they do, and really, really cares about working together as a team. And I mean, a lot of this is fostered by our amazing Chief Development Officer, Grace, who really embodies her name, actually. But I don't know, she does have this special thing that she just kind of sprinkles over us, and it just, I don't know, it's just a great team. I think they kind of put together a great, she helped put together this great team. She's been with the organization a long time, and so I think that common goals are really important, and we all have a very similar sort of work ethic, and the same sort of level of enthusiasm about raising money for this really great organization. So it's really great. I'm trying to think of any successes. I mean, we just have some really great people. We do have somebody who I think she may be on this webinar watching right now, but we have this amazing fundraiser that never gives up. She never gives up, and if she can't reach you by phone or by email, she's gonna show up at your house with her homemade pickles. And she's really awesome. And in fact, I sent her an article about one of her prospects that she hasn't really been able to connect with. And he was opening a new hotel. And I don't know if she popped in, but she was like, oh, I'm going to be over there. I might pop in and see if I can congratulate him. So, she's just really awesome. Her bravery is amazing. And her creativeness as well, and just how she reaches people. It's just really cool. But we do a lot of that together. I provide her with information to help her track these people down, and she does it, and she never gives up. She never gives up.
I love that story, Tami. And what a great segue into kind of talking about what your workflows might look like here, right? So as you said, you're the one prospect researcher supporting currently 13 gift officers. What does your workflow look like? What does your daily workflow look like?
So, Insightful, we're able to connect it to Razor's Edge. So I'm able to follow everybody that we have assigned in Insightful. So I'm only looking at news articles that pop up for those people that we have assigned. And so I kind of, it's one of the first things I do in the morning. I'll grab my breakfast or my tea, and I'll just kind of sit down and scroll through the news for the day and kind of click through everything. And I'm just, I'm looking for anything that can help move things along or inspire our fundraisers. And it's really great. I love that. It's kind of a nice way to start my day. I can kind of relax and ease into my day by going through the news and just kind of doing the scroll. And then I get a few hits. I'll send things off to our fundraisers. You can download articles or you can email them directly from inside of Insightful, which I do pretty often. And then once I'm through with that, I kind of move on with my day and do other stuff, but it's something that I check every day. And I was away all last week and nobody looked at it. So when I came back, I had some catching up to do, but it wasn't so bad. It makes it really manageable to really be looking at the people that you want to be looking at. And it brings over some information about from Razor's Edge into Insightful so that it matches them up pretty well with what you're looking for, and that's individuals and organizations. So yeah. It's a nice start to my day.
Great. And Tami, I know in talking to other prospect researchers before, we always wonder, you do all this work and you find information and you send it along, and it can sometimes feel like it goes into a black hole. Does it ever feel that way for you? How do you make sure that you're finding the right information, that your fundraisers are responding to that? How does that part work for you?
Well, so luckily, like I said, we do have really wonderful people we have really great people on our staff, so everybody does respond to me. So usually I'll get it. So even though I send it from Insightful, when they email me back, it comes to my work email, which is great. So I usually at least get a thank you, if nothing else. But sometimes I'll get, thanks, I'm gonna do this thing with this. I'm gonna reach out to this person. I'm gonna congratulate them. Or, oh, like recently I sent somebody an obituary for, it was like somebody's sister, so the prospect was named in their obituary, and it was from somewhere not in New York or Connecticut. It was far away. So I was like, hey, like, just so you know, this is what's been going on. Her sister passed away. I was like, it might be weird if you know, because it was like in North Carolina and not anywhere local, but just so you know. And she goes, oh, now I know. She said there was a lot of family stuff going on. It must have been this. So it was kind of just giving her an understanding of what the prospect's going through and an idea of when she might reach out or how she might reach out. And in other cases, we're catching obituaries for people that are really important to us or for their relatives, and it is appropriate for them to send a card or some flowers or something. So yeah, it's been really helpful in that way.
Yeah. We like to say, we give you that obituary service so you can get your flowers there first.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think it's like one of the things that kind of prompted me to start looking for a service like this. So I think we missed something happened and we missed it. And so yeah, it was important to stay on top of everything.
Tami, for folks who are on the call who might be newer to the profession or newer to working with news alerts in general, can you share a little bit about sort of how you decide what is important? You sift through the news. Not everything is worth your forwarding to your gift officers. How do you decide what to?
Yeah, that's true, right? Some people are like always in the news. They're like famous actors or whatever. And so that doesn't always help. But yeah, I do try to be selective because I don't want to overwhelm them. And that way I do get, responses from them as well. How do I decide? I mean, I'm really thinking about what can they do with this information when I'm looking at it. And sometimes I will tell them what I think they should do with the information. Like, hey, this could be a really great foot in the door, or you could reach out and congratulate this person. And some of our, it sort of depends. Like some of our more experienced fundraisers know that, and some of the less experienced fundraisers could use a little push. So I often will tell them what I think, give them my opinion on how they can use this information. So I do try to be selective. I won't just send them anything that pops up.
Yeah. And do you have a mechanism for closing the loop at all? Or like, are there meetings in which you might review the pipeline or movement through the pipeline and how this information affected that? I mean, if you have any, or if there's a specific example that you might have of like something you've sent that moved the conversation along.
I don't know that I don't know if that I do. So usually everybody kind of gets back to me. Like I said, they'll say thank you. I don't know that I have enough time to follow up with everybody. But our prospect management specialist meets with our fundraisers every week to do a little like mini portfolio review or say, hey, we have like these 10 people that you haven't called them yet. Kind of depends on the week. We have varying topics that we bring up. To keep everybody, to keep the portfolios, moving and everybody on top of what they've got in there. Yeah. So a lot of times the news articles do remind them like, oh yeah, I've got that person in my portfolio. I should probably reach out. And then they have a good reason to reach out. Yeah, it works.
Great. And Tami, one thing that also came to mind when you were saying, you were looking for Insightful or for a service like this because you've missed some information. Did you work with other news monitoring services like a Google Alerts? We often hear folks try to rely on Google Alerts, and what kind of swayed you away from?
Yeah, I was using a combination of Google Alerts and free alerts from TalkWalker, and it's not the same. It's not the same. TalkWalker was pretty cool, but it's like super limited. And then if you wanted to pay for something, it was like this huge platform, and you couldn't just do news alerts. I liked TalkWalker because it picked up blog posts, but Google News alerts were just not working for me. Plus, the great thing about Insightful is that it hooks up to Razor's Edge, and I mean that's just saves me so much time and confusion and just a lot of time. So it just keeps everything fresh, and I'm getting stuff from news sources, and I don't have to deal with paywalls or any of that. So it's just way more efficient and in every way possible. Just, I'm getting better information, and I'm getting it faster.
And Tami, are you relying mostly, do you find that you're getting mostly local news, or do you get news on your prospects more distributed? The combination?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much from all over the place. I mean, most of our prospects are in New York and Connecticut, but it is, I'm getting national and global news for sure. Yeah, so, and sometimes, sometimes it's them, sometimes it's not them, but most of the time, I'm seeing what I need to see. And it is really quick and easy to kind of scroll through all of the articles. It tells you which articles are new. Those pop up at the top, so I don't have to keep scrolling and go, did I look at that already? So it's really easy to use, and it just saves me a ton of time. I wasn't really reading the news alerts I was getting before when I was using like Google Alerts and TalkWalker Alerts. It was like too overwhelming and not user friendly at all. So this is like, I'm actually doing it now. I wasn't really doing it before.
Was it coming in multiple emails to you? Is that was that the difference?
Yeah, it was. And also it just, like the TalkWalker alerts would only show like a certain number, and so you'd have to click through to see the rest. And this just brings everything to one place, and it's just better. It is.
Tami, in terms of, and I know you connect using a Razor's Edge, which is a pretty seamless integration with Insightful. Have you had to rely on our customer service for support and
you guys have a great customer support team. Always very responsive, and we do check-ins, and our guy Lauren, he's really great. He's always looking to help and find answers, and I know I've always, I know I give you guys feedback every so often, and you take that, and I always get responses, and so it's really nice. It's always important to have good, customer support, as we know in the world of Razor's Edge, especially. It's it helps to have really good customer support. So.
That's great to hear, and we do appreciate all of the feedback we receive over the past year and a half. We have done so much to build up functionality and Insightful based on precisely that, all the customer feedback. So we do love that. Makes me not have to think so hard. Tami, how if somebody on our call today is listening and they're on the fence about whether it's worth investing in a news monitoring tool, whether it's Insightful or something similar, what would you tell them from your experience? Like, what should be the things that they take into consideration, and why is this? After having lived with it for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think ease of use is pretty huge because, like I said before, like I was doing the Google alerts and the TalkWalker alerts before, and I really wasn't even looking at them because it was such a mess and just too difficult to review on a daily basis. So I think that, yeah, I think like it's just super convenient to have it all in one place and to be able to follow the prospects that you need to follow. However you set that up. And for us, it's the ones that are assigned to our gift officers. And sometimes I follow other people, like add them in as well, like somebody we want to kind of keep our eye on. But yeah, I mean, it's just extremely convenient. It's you know, I don't know. I think it's just like a worthy investment. It's not like it's not going to be. It probably won't be your biggest investment either. It's a good, a well-priced product, and it does a lot for you, um, and for your gift officers. So I do think it's really important, and it was a huge missing piece before we picked it up. So I'm excited. Um, it's been a really good like year of use, and I know you guys are constantly like updating the product, and so I'm really excited about what you guys will continue to bring.
And Tami, you hit on something that I know is important to a lot of folks who are on the call, which is the budgets and budget decisions. Right, so investing in a new tool at a time of budget uncertainty can be intimidating. But it sounds like you have sort of justified that with the time savings and all of the good opportunities to feed information to your gift officers to kind of connect the dots and make those relationships, strengthen relationships, and find ways to connect with folks where they may not have had a way in.
Yeah.
Anything else that I didn't ask you about that you would want to share with the folks on the call today?
I don't know. I don't think so. I know I have some examples that I can share of different types of articles that I have found useful. So, for instance, we have prospects that own companies, and sometimes those companies are making big acquisitions, which like allows for a touch point for one of our gift officers to like congratulate them on acquiring this new company. Sometimes it's like the other way around where their company is being acquired, and so we're going to expect a windfall from that acquisition. So it's something that we keep our eye on, or we may also reach out to congratulate. I told you about the prospect with the hotel, the new hotel. Obituaries, of course, are always really important. I saw an article recently about an open call for nominations for community volunteers at a local bank. So we're using that as an opportunity to nominate a prospect or one of our donors to just to give them a little boost. There's all sorts of things. Oh, there's notifications of stock transactions, which is great also. You kind of see what's going on, where people are moving their money around. I use it to track chatter about our own organization and some specific people in our organization. It helps us learn how people are talking about our organization on the outside. Sometimes I find articles about large gifts that are made to other organizations that are inspirational for our team, or that they can kind of just hook on to use for some ideas, and just helps us learn new things about our prospects as well. So there's so many different ways that you can use it, and so many different interesting things that will pop up that will help inform your gift officers on how they should move forward with maybe how much they're asking for or the timing of their ask, and yeah, just helps create better relationships.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Tami, so much. And I hope that everybody on the call learned something from you today. And as you said, I guess if guys want to connect with Tami or myself, we're both on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with some colleagues across the fundraising space. Catherine, I'll turn it back over to you.
Sure, thank you. I want to open it up to the audience for any questions. Again, you may see the gray bars on the side of your screen with questions. Just pop that open, type it in there. We do have a few, and whether Mariana or Tami, feel free to field them, whichever is most appropriate. Let's see, we just have a couple of minutes left, so we'll do our best to get to all of them. One of the questions, and we do frequently get this, is how is it different from Google Alerts? So maybe if we could get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that it's just better. Like, so Google Alerts, I don't know what's wrong with it, but the search function, I just don't think it works very well. And like I said, like all of the articles that you're getting in Insightful are without a paywall. So, I mean, if you're using Google Alerts, you're still going to hit those paywalls, and it's just so much more cleaner and user-friendly, and that saves you time. So if you're like a one-person shop like I am, your time is really precious. So that really will save you a lot of time to have everything in one place and not have to worry about updating your Google Alerts or worrying about variations on names, because Insightful will look at nicknames, aliases, spouse names, and so you're getting a lot more better hit with Insightful than you are with Google Alerts.
And Tami, something you mentioned before that I will just add to that is the integration. So whether you're integrating through the API like we do with RENXT, or through a file import from some of the other CRMs, you are getting a kind of instant setup of all the names of all of the individuals and organizations that you want to follow. And pretty much with a single click, once you've figured out who it is that you want to follow in the news, once those names are uploaded, you single click to follow them all and start receiving any hits in the news on any of those prospects the very next day.
Thank you, Mariana. And you touched on something that we have a question here about, other than Raiser's Edge, what other systems do you integrate with?
Yeah, so any database that you can get your data out of, we will integrate with. We support file import from any system.
Great, thank you. Donor privacy issues are, often a block for integrating with new software. How do you address data privacy issues in the healthcare space?
Great question. No healthcare organization can just sign a contract that shares their data with any software company. So Insightful takes kind of the minimum necessary information out of your CRM. So Tami, you can also speak to this, but it's really name, spouse, basic name-related pieces, spouse, their location, city and state, their employer, any foundations and organizations that they may be related with. And then we leave everything else behind. We're a SaaS product in the cloud safely. All of the data is securely stored at rest, in transit. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is none of us can see any of the data that is coming from our customers. All of that data is very well protected from everyone within Insightful and everybody else. So we take data security very seriously, and we do support all the security questionnaires that come through. So if your IT team or security team has any specific questions, just shoot them our way.
Yeah, I just want to add that one of the reasons we have an easier time contracting with vendors that use our data, that take our data, is because our chief development officer has just a really, really great relationship with our IT folks and with our legal folks, and that is really important when you're looking at any type of vendor like this, any screening vendor, anything at all. Those relationships are so important, and if they're not in place, there can be a lot of distrust. And so I think, but like she said, it's really minimal. In this case, it was like extra easy because it is like very little information, and we don't bring anything in that says this person is a patient or a donor. I mean, these people, some of these people are just prospects that we have never gotten in touch with, that have never given us a dime, that don't use our hospital system. So they're not necessarily patients or anything like that, but really, like she said, it's just like names, an address, relationships, whatever they need to kind of make them match, but the rest of it's left where it is. So.
Great, thank you. And as Mariana said, any specific questions, we're happy to speak one-on-one with people. Tami, how do you prioritize your work with 13 gift officers?
That's a really great question. I don't know. So they're really great. Some of them are more active with their requests than others, and I don't really know. I don't know how we are so awesome, to tell you the truth, because nobody really pressures me or says, where's this thing? Where's this thing? I have very few sharp deadlines. I mean, we've got events, and yes, there's meetings and that sort of thing, but I don't know. Everybody kind of gives me the time. They know that's just me, and they like me, so they want me to stay. So they treat me with respect. And I will also tell them the truth. I'm not writing profiles almost ever. I'm not spending time doing that. So I'm just doing whatever research really needs to be done. So sometimes our gift officers have specific questions, or they just want to help coming up with like a capacity rating or whatever. So I do as little as I can, as fast as I can, but I try to hit the important things. I try to hand over the important information, and I'm not just gathering every little thing that's out there. And I'm certainly not spending all my time writing, because there's just no time for that. So, but it works. It works. And a lot of the prospecting comes from the gift officers and from our physicians. So we'll do screenings with our physicians. We put a list of wealthy patients in front of them and ask them to give us, tell us who's grateful. So that's kind of like my prospecting made easy in a lot of ways. But yeah, I just have a lot of different ways that I handle things, and I have a bunch of people that I work with in our advancement services team that will pick up some basic requests as well. So, but it is a lot, and but I love it. It's working. It's working. But yeah, I kind of wish there was another one.
I think there's some magic in what you said though, Tami, just having worked in advancement and development services for a while, that you don't waste your time on the extra things that may not be bringing value, and you focus in on the things that will help answer the question or move the relationship forward. I think that's probably a really good approach for somebody working in a small shop supporting a lot of gift officers.
And trust is huge, right? Like, they trust me to give them what they need, and they're not constantly like, are you sure? Or they're not second guessing, which is really nice, because I know that doesn't happen everywhere, and that hasn't always been my experience. But with this organization, with these people, yes, it's pretty great.
That's wonderful to hear. I'm going to go to one more question, and then we'll wrap up to be sensitive to time. Let's see. We're at a very budgets, always tight budget situation right now. I think probably healthcare organizations are feeling that. How do you recommend we advocate for this type of investment?
Well, As Tami said earlier, I can start and then pass it off. Insightful is not going to break your budget typically. The cost is such that it pays for itself multifold in both time savings, efficiencies gained, and then those relationships formed or strengthened through the information identified in the tool will really pay dividends. Tami, I know you and your team have had experience with all of the above, but that is typically how. And then the information that you'll find in there are some strategies that we've found with teams that we've worked with in tight budget cycles that really help. You can budget share, consider budget sharing with other teams. We offer obituary services. What is your data management team using right now? We cover 95+% of all obituaries and death notices, funeral home notices across the United States. And we can alert you on those as they pretty much as they happen. Might this be a tool that your data management team can cost share? And we don't charge based on licenses, so you can share it with others. Tami, you mentioned, you have PR, marketing, communications as part of your team. There are ways to track mentions of your organization, mentions of specific schools, units, departments within Insightful. Can your marketing and communications team help cost share? This is a great way to stay on top of news mentions of your organization. And then there's, all of that wealth of sort of corporate, foundation, and individual prospects that you can follow and track news on those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, I think it's worth asking for, for a quote, because I do think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and I definitely think it's a great investment. It'll just keep you all more connected. I think it's great for small organizations as well as larger ones. I'm sure you can take a look at the list of their sources. But I know that I've emailed them before and I said, hey, why don't you guys pick up this source? So, they're always adding to that as well. And I know that they had a lot of local ones, which I was really interested in. So I think that I think it's important for your, your higher ups and your gift officers to if they understand the value of research, then I think they'll see the value in these news alerts. And like I said, yeah, it is a really good investment. It's definitely paid us back. So we're really happy with it. And I know like our VP, who oversees all of our fundraisers, loves it. It's like his favorite thing. So he loves getting those articles. It just really helps everybody take another step forward when they might feel stuck. So
thank you, Tami.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Mariana Boone with Insightful, thank you for being here. Tami Pearson with Nuvance Health, thank you for your insights and sharing your experiences with us here today. We appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, on to our next steps. If you are new to Insightful, at the start of this presentation, I mentioned that Insightful was hosting today's conversation. If you'd like to learn more about how we deliver that news and information, we're happy to schedule a complimentary session with you. Feel free to gather a group from your team or one-on-one to join us. If you download this presentation here, you can just click right on the screen to reach out to us. You'll also be getting a follow-up email. You can respond to that. We would be happy to set up a time with our team. Or also, you can join our upcoming webinar is next week, Wednesday, April 30th at 1 o'clock. To get to know Insightful, we'll take you through the behind the scenes. In about 30 minutes, you will get to know it for yourself and have an opportunity to ask any questions that you have that relate specifically to your organization. Also, coming up in May and June, we are doing an encore series. We have been fortunate to have some wonderful guests over the last year, talking about expertise ranging from due diligence, researching insiders during economic volatility, getting back to basics for smaller shops. So on Thursdays in May and June, we will be doing encore presentations of our webinar sessions. Follow-up links to all of that information will also be in the email that you receive tomorrow, along with a recording of today's session. Thank you very much for spending part of your day with us. We hope you enjoyed this and that you have some actionable ways that you can use news to help your fundraising team. There's a very brief survey as you exit. Please let us know what you thought about today's session, how we can improve in the future. And again, please reach out to us with any questions you may have. We're happy to continue the conversation with you. On behalf of the News Bank and Insightful team, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.